Hello, everyone! On this very odd day and hour, we're still bringing you OBL for the second week in a row.
Wow.
Oh, even through technical errors and everything else. Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Tornadoes, smoke
Yes!
outside.
Brandi, you had more tornado chances than I did this week.
Yeah.
You have to share.
The area where I live apparently is like a weather bubble, and everything
Oh.
like the cells just break and like go around. So nothing fun to report.
It sounds like you have a Valpo meteorologist somewhere nearby, because we cause that. It's scientifically proven.
I don't
Oh my goodness.
think there's a Valpo Met near me, which is sad, I think.
Well, see, by association with me, you now are the bubble too.
Actually makes a lot of sense because when I lived in another area, weather occurrences were near and far. So
There you go. It's just me. Oh my goodness. Let's see who we got on here tonight. We got the nerdy Viking saying, thought you got taken to Lake Laogai. Honestly,
kind of feels that way.
it really does.
Kind of feels that way.
We got Marcus Aurelius. We got Nerdy Viking and Marcus Aurelius. I'm glad you're back again this week. We got Louise X Sparrow, loving ya, and Adega popping in. I need to catch up with Adega, one of my original podcasting buddies from the pandemic era.
Nice.
But we're all about making friends and keeping those friends away from Longfang and under Lake Laogai. Because this episode proved to me that that could be one of the worst fates imaginable.
I don't know. I have a pretty good imagination.
Okay, I don't want to know what you could come up with. Rapunzel's in the house,
Let's
the OG memer. Oh, I'm loving this. Yes, no, we'll talk about it more in this episode, but I have a new fear of getting crushed by rocks underwater and dying in the dark. Like, ugh.
I hate how fitting that is. Real world
It
things
is.
that have occurred.
How likely is it that I'll end up underneath a lake crushed by rocks? But still, it's non-zero, so.
The probability is low, but never zero.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, yes, everyone, sorry for the late go today. I forgot yesterday was Monday, so that is on me. And then I needed to delay because StreamYard kicked me out. So again, Brandi's all good. I'm a flaming mess. And
I'm just better at hiding it. I'm not all good. You know it.
Oh, see, well, I mean, at least your camera works. I don't know what. I mean, I'm coming to you in SD tonight. No HD, Katie. It's just too much for this computer to handle. But enough of the ramblings. There's enough with this episode that we could go on for hours. And I feel like we should get started if you're all for it, Brandi.
Let's go.
All right, well, let's kick it off. We have the episode summary. Still feeling very judgmental after last week's with Appa's Lost Days. Just, they couldn't do it. They couldn't even come close to making it.
I think this one may be my best one ever.
Really? Okay, because
I'm just putting that out there.
I'm looking at the description on Paramount Plus. I'm just like, maybe. It's kind of mediocre. It just says, while searching for Appa, the kids run into Jet, but are torn about whether to trust him or not. Meanwhile, Zuko also hunts for Appa. It does a decent job, but it's not like zesty.
I got you. Listen, I think their description gives away too much, whereas mine, I'm biased, but okay. You ready?
Ready.
Tired of the corruption and bossing, say, Aang and the team do whatever it takes to find Appa with the help from old adversaries.
Ooh,
now listen. No. Listen. The adversaries obviously mean Jet and Smeller B and Longshot, but it also means Zuko.
It's so good. It's the multi-layer effect. Oh my gosh, I love it.
I wrote that and I was like, I will never do another amazing thing like that ever again in my life. That's where it
has depth. Oh,
as a writer, at least.
Oh, I trust more and more bangers. You could sneeze and you'd come up with a better description of the episodes than some of the ones on Paramount Plus. And then you go the extra mile and you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to make this from good to great to amazing. So, cheers for you, Brandi. Oh, that was so good. Much like this episode, which I didn't think was good when I was a kid. I don't know why.
Hurts me a little bit.
The last few episodes of season 2, I just wasn't a big fan of. Yeah.
Love some of my favorite.
I'm trying to decide if my computer's the one doing the robot voice or yours.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, no, because that sounded like you were a synth voice. You were like, oh no. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me check my internet connection real quick. They don't have these problems in Lake Laogai. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think before.
I think it might be your internet, Brandi.
My internet is fine.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay. All right, everyone, hold on just a second. We're gonna go whoop, whoop, and whoop. Oh,
she just
crud,
appeared.
now it's just
I
blank
don't know
screen.
if you guys can still see me.
There you go. Now you're back.
Okay.
Your computer can't handle that brilliant description. Very true, Marcus Aurelius. Okay, well, whenever I did, it worked because now we're in sync again. So,
all right, cool.
I'm telling you, Long Fang, he's trying to censor us from this episode. Everything. My computer will likely burst into flames before we finish this stream.
I really hope not. I really hope
I
not.
will be so sad. I have so many fan fictions saved on this device. Maybe that's why. Oh my gosh. Streaming from Lake Laogai isn't a great idea. You get terrible reception under there. Oh yeah, they'd have to have some major cell boosters right there. Okay. Now we're all back. It looks good. Let's hop into the episode.
All right, let's go.
I love this drawing. I love this poster. I want it as a fan art. I really want that to be a poster available at Comic-Cons.
I'm sure somewhere there is one.
It has to be. But like, how cute is it that they're like, you know what? Nothing's working. We're going to go and we're going to save up ourselves flyers.
You know, this is just me being me, but they went to a professional to get this done, right?
Yes.
And they just described Appa, what he looks like. Like, nobody's seen an air bison.
That's
but they don't have a picture of Appa, do they?
I don't think he has.
So
unless
then
he has
how
like a
did
little
they
locket.
How did they have a little lock that I guess they could have showed like the bison whistle and been like, this?
Vaguely?
No, I don't know. Anyways.
It does make Sokka seem a lot more realistic.
Listen, Sokka has the same drawing ability as me with a physical pencil. Like, I cannot.
That's what we should do for the episode. We'll be like, okay, guys who are watching, take a Sharpie or whatever pen and draw Appa from memory here. At the end of the episode, we'll show who can do the best. Because I, for one, my memory's trash. You know this. The world knows this. I don't think I could do better than Sokka.
Oh, no, it's not so much like my memory. It's just like I literally cannot draw with a pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we combine our efforts, I can draw, you can remember things. Boom.
Okay. Hey, the avatars are back, baby.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so our brand now. We're posting really hard to Sokka's art style. And they bring it back multiple times in the series, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, lost pet posters. Good idea or bad idea?
For
the gang.
Oh, for the gang? I was like, in general? I
Not
think
in real life. Yeah, no.
I was like, wait, what?
In real life, totally good. Because, well, I'll bring my reasoning for asking that is because they have to realize that there might be people who would have ulterior motives if they found the bison. Like, there's people in real life who, if they find your lost dog, they'll hold it for ransom. Like, maybe I'm just in a cruel world run by local news, but
I think what they're thinking is that this is gonna like result in like a lead of Appa's location. I don't think they're thinking like, oh, somebody's just gonna find Appa on the side of the road like a little kitten and keep it. Like, if you find Appa, you're not gonna keep like. I think they're just looking for information here. But I think what's also interesting is that they have very little like hard facts that Appa is even in Ba Sing Se. Like, why do they keep thinking that he's in Ba Sing Se?
Yeah, all they had was the sand guy saying, "Oh, they probably took him to Ba Sing Se by now." It's like,
yeah, but like they have no leads or any reason to believe that he's in Ba Sing Se, other than that.
yeah.
And I guess not Appa, but Momo could have like brought back that tuft of fur that he found in Tales of Ba Sing Se. So I mean, like there's that, but it's just like. And I guess Long Feng also was like, I want, you should stay on my good side if you want to keep looking for your lost bison, which I guess implies that Long Feng knows. But I don't know. It's messy.
It is so messy. Hey, Adega, how's it going? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm paranoid because, well, when Zuko, because you see Aang, the beginning of the episode, he's flying around, he's dropping all these leaflets, and then Zuko grabs one.
Yeah.
I first do not even remember that scene ever happening as a child. Like that, you could have told me that they just added that as a bonus last week, and I would have believed you. I don't know where that part of my life went as a child. Maybe I went to the bathroom during the episode. I don't know. But no, it just made me start to realize, like, man, if I were them, I'd be paranoid. Like, what if there's a sleeper agent for the Fire Nation and they're like, oh, we'll go get him? Or like if they printed his address on the poster, like someone just shows up, Avatar Aang, hi, yes.
I was thinking because I don't know if it's in the Crossroad of Destinies or the episode prior, but like Iroh eventually like shows up to their house.
Yes.
That they're staying at. And my little headcanon is that he just found one of the flyers and that their address is indeed on this flyer, and that's how he knew where they were.
Avatar Aang, yes, this is you.
Iroh just shows up and he's like, yo. And they're like,
going?
Which is fantastic. But yeah, no, I 100% believe that they are doing what every young teenager does and just are not thinking at all.
Yeah. They need that one paranoid friend who will help. And then in comes Judy and yeah. Well, Judy walks in and it's like, oh, paranoia to the max. Like, especially just, she's the creepiest character. Like, I'll take Ko the face stealer over Judy.
I mean, they're not in the same league. Like, you obviously know my love for Ko.
As far as like, if I saw them walking down the street, I would cross to the other side of the street if Judy was walking towards me. Ko, it's fine. Stay on the side. Not worth it.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I never really found Judy like creepy or anything like that. I think that she's much more of like a victim. And so
definitely.
As I've like gotten older and rewatched the episodes and stuff like that, I feel kind of sorry for her because she's just as much as like a victim as like literally everybody else in this city.
Yeah, it's like she's not even herself anymore. She's just a husk that's being puppeteered by the Dai Li.
Mm-hmm.
Feel bad. Still creepy, but feel bad.
It's creepy, but like it's also like has this like just this underlining thread of just sorrow and like like obviously like after this episode, things quickly progress and stuff like that, and like they're not able to like stay in Ba Sing Se and like help fix things or anything like that. But it's just like it's so sad that there's probably just hundreds of people who are these Judies, and
Yes.
who knows what happens to them.
What's the age of indoctrination for Judies and
Yeah.
like that? Like, I don't know, but is the thing like, and you can tell she's aware of like what's good and what's not, because that face is the face of someone who is very aware of the situation that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And so like getting angry and everything, like, I don't know, as a kid I would always root that she would turn like to their side. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that was gone after watching the episode for the first time, but it's like maybe she'll be a friend.
No.
And I can't blame her. That'd be hard to break away.
This is also interesting because Aang does just eventually, like, he's just like, I'm done.
Mhm.
I don't care anymore.
Forget your rules. I'm doing this on my own.
Yeah.
Slam.
And then Toph's like, let's break some rules. And
Yes.
destroys that whole corner of the house.
That's the manic energy we had in college. Kind of like
I
VUTV
was
style.
like, you had some of my favorite. A lot of times I'll be going through like my photos on my picture, and some of my favorite is the photos of you redoing that bar stool.
Oh god. Yes.
Because you have on like a mask because you were sanding it, but then you also have these safety goggles.
Like, boom, boom, got the gloves on.
It's just like my favorite Katie photo ever.
It so purely encapsulates. Oh man, that's such. I have to go back and find a picture of those. I went back to Valpo and saw that they were still in the studio. So
That's so cool. I remember that I like hyper fixated on finishing the sanding, and like
yes,
Professor Pal came in, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, I don't know. Katie started this, and she walked away, and now I have to finish it." And there was just this. There was all this sawdust on the floor in the newsroom. Professor Pal, he leaves and he brings back a little dirt buster, and he's like, well, when you're done, will you just clean up and then just leave it here and I'll get it tomorrow? And I'm like, of course.
No other questions asked. Walk out of the room.
He was like, these VUTV people
were weird, man. Like, was this his face when he walked in?
No. He was just like, that's Brandi.
Just, we accept it. Oh, KDHD strikes again. Oh, KDHD was coined as a term at VUTV. So, you're Wandy. Let's see. Did Toph really need to punch a hole in the house? Really?
She did.
She just wanted some fresh air.
Toph has been on her best behavior for weeks. And
yeah, she has been stuffed into this snobby little upper ring. She can't go and do what she wants.
Exactly.
She needs a pressure valve. She needs to just sort of let it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah, no. If I lived there, I would happily be middle class in Ba Sing Se. Nothing else.
I'm not gonna live in Ba Sing Se. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah.
Nope.
Well, and then we're getting into the episode, and all of a sudden you go, hi, Katara.
Hold on. You've skipped over quite a lot here.
Did I?
Yeah, no, you've skipped over quite a
lot.
lot.
Did I grab the wrong screen grab? Okay, continue.
We gotta talk about Toph putting up that poster.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's one of my favorites.
Boom, boom. I did skip over it. It was next in line. Bless her soul.
This is good.
Even Momo's just like...
I even forgot, like, even at the beginning, top of the episode where, like, Sokka's trying to draw and he's like, I thought I was going to make the poster, and Toph's like, well, I think it looks great. And Sokka's just like, well, thank you. And then it sets in and he's like, why do you continue to do that?
That was such a real, like, it almost felt like that would have been in Friends, one of those unscripted moments that they keep in the show.
Mhm.
Only it was totally scripted and they made it into Avatar. Like,
Yeah.
these writers, they don't get enough
Insert laugh
credit.
track.
Yes. Just come on, you'll come with me, Toph.
But I really love this moment with Toph because she's just like, "What? You think I can't do it because I'm blind?" And she just like boldly does it, and then she's like, "It's upside down, isn't it?" And I relate to that so much because like so many times people are like, "Well, you should probably, come with me, Brandi," or something like that. And I'm like, I can do it myself. And then like it doesn't go, and I'm like, all right,
You
fine.
tried, and that's what counts. Rapunzel has a point here too. Toph feeling like she's back at home, pent-up rage needs a release valve. She wants to be helpful and useful too, but she can't necessarily do just one thing here.
Yeah,
And I feel for her.
definitely.
Oh, but yeah. Toph brings so much comedic value, especially when mixed with Sokka. And I wish we would have seen more Toph and Sokka adventures. Like, just the two of them.
Yeah.
That'd be, like, too much sarcasm for the world to handle, though.
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, I'm in the world and obviously.
Well, you are the captain, the leading, the head of sarcasm in the universe. And you have earned that right.
It's taken
Oh,
years of practice and study and dedication.
Oh, okay. I think we're back on track. I order these before we get into the episode.
It's fine. It's just like
Sometimes
I
we get
needed
out
to
of
talk
order.
about that poster moment
We
because
definitely
it's one
did.
of my favorites.
Okay, so we got that. I could not find a screen grab of the man offering Iroh the tea shop.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, that's okay.
But that's just like, it was bound to happen. If you're that good, you're gonna get upper ring.
I was reading the Avatar extras, and so like the guy that offers Iroh the tea shop, one of the extras was like, people from the upper Reen go to the lower Reen to enjoy the food. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay, I guess. So like that's the only reason why that guy was there, was because apparently that tea shop had worked, like word about that tea shop had gotten up into the upper Reen, and
He's a
the guy was
tea-coon
like,
and decided he was gonna take over the tea industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that kind of like if you're going to dive bars and stuff and they have like that secret menu. Just like the upper ring, people are just like, I bet you we can find some of this.
Do you think that there's a Guy Fieri in the Avatar universe?
Oh my gosh, yes. He would have a show called like Flavor Benders and just be like, here are the weirdest combinations of food. You take a giant platypus egg, you put a little cactus juice on it, bam.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that 100%. Rapunzel says, forget Toph and Sokka, we need a comic book series of the Valpo adventures of Katie, HD, and Brandi. I mean, there's so much to go on.
Yeah.
And talk about. We took a trip to Vegas together, guys. Like we spent
Yeah. We took a trip to Vegas, guys. That's one of my all-time favorite stories to tell. And I also got one of my jobs because I told that story during my interview. It was months later. And my boss was like, you want to know why I hired you? And I was like, sure. She was like, well, I mean, your skills are really great and stuff like that. But you told that Vegas story, and I knew that that's how you were a real one. I was like, yeah, you're not wrong.
You aren't real until you've had the hotel meltdown that we Oh, glorious. The people watching, if they're still watching. Just like, oh, these two. Oh yeah. We should do a comic book. Oh boy. Okay, back on the track.
Yes, back to
That was already one really nice sidetrack though. getting good at these. But yes, Katara with Jet, I think her reaction is valid.
Yeah.
Little, but okay, my favorite part of all of this is when she says, he says Katara, and she turns around and she goes, Jet, and she like is enraged but has like those little blush patches on her cheeks, like, oh, you still like him.
I don't think she still likes him at all. I don't think it's that at
Yeah.
all. I think it was more so just like, of all the people to run into.
A blush of embarrassment instead of a blush of
Yeah. It was just like, are you serious? And then like also just like the embarrassment, because I mean, I don't know if you've ever like run into somebody who you like either used to have a relationship with, or like even like somebody who you used to be friends with and you just randomly show up. For me, all of the embarrassing things that I ever did in front of that person just floods. So like I would be like, we gotta go.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just wash you down the side of the street with this wave here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely valid reaction to that. If I could waterbend and push people away with a waterfall, then I would gladly.
I think I would pull a Toph and destroy part of the building. That's just what I would.
Oh boy, where's the door? Oh, there's the door.
Where's the door? There's the door. I gotta go. Bye.
Let's see you again.
Not really, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, so like, I'll remind me after the stream, because I don't know if he watches or not. I have a story to tell you.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Let's just say, okay.
No. It's okay.
I know he doesn't watch, and I won't name him his name. In middle school, there was this boy who I kind of like had a crush on, and we would hang out all the time, and I was always hanging out with guys because the girls in my middle school were trash, and they still are. But one day in 7th grade, he looked at me and just out of the blue, he goes, "Are you a lesbian?" And me, being the sheltered little baby that I was, said, "Oh no, I'm Greek Orthodox." And so anytime I see him on Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, whatever it is, that immediately is like, oh yeah, you know him.
See?
This.
See? Exactly. Katara does not like Jet anymore. She's just purely embarrassed of like the girl brain that took over. Okay?
I now deeply understand. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Also, your reaction of perfect.
My incredibly sheltered reaction. Oh my gosh. Yes. No, that makes sense. I see now.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact that she was hanging up posters and everything, and then the gang, they're just like rushing in, and she's like, Jet's back. It's like, ooh, someone hold her back. I think she might actually stab him.
What's fantastic is Toph actually has no idea what's happening.
Yeah, Toph's just like, who the heck is this guy?
She still just rolls up ready to fight.
Oh yeah. It'd be like anyone's just like, hey, I need some help over here. Yeah, what's up? Let me grab the earrings here, the bracelets. Yeah. I didn't even tell you who we were fighting yet. You didn't need to.
I heard we are fighting. That's what I heard.
Boom. This would have been probably my second response. Marcus Aurelius, no, I'm American. Oh, I now know the difference.
Third option. No, yeah. This is Patrick.
So kind of a side note, when I was watching this episode with Long Fang, I heard Mr. Krabs at one point.
I'm so sorry.
I can't understand. Like, I can't.
I never should have told you that.
It's so crazy. Oh man. But yeah, no, I love I love that, but we'll get to it when we get to that scene. But this part, where Toph, we finally get to see her be like, yeah, no, I can tell when people are lying. And like
I question about that.
Cool. Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's just like that ability comes, one, just completely out of nowhere. And two,
True.
is really like the cornerstone of this episode. Like, it's just too convenient for me. And that
Toph ex machina.
Yeah, pretty much. And usually, like, I'm not very critical of like the writing in the show because it's very good and everything like that. But this is the one thing that I'm like, this feels really lazy.
It does feel like a bit of a cop-out. If they had introduced it like a few episodes ahead of time, like with the couple at the Serpent's Pass, be like, yeah, no, they like, there's no ulterior motives or anything. Like, I don't know what they could have done. Yeah, just some random person and talking about like, yeah, they're lying. This is my power.
Yeah, but to have it introduced here and then have it be used so much to progress the plot and like progress the story and stuff like that, like they never would have trusted Jet if it hadn't happened. And then like they never really would have like figured out the whole brainwashing like Laogai thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like it feels really lazy.
It all falls into place a little too quickly and a little too easily. Yeah.
But like, I mean, her having the ability, I have no qualms with. It's just
it makes sense. I just wish they would have brought it up before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Judy is Kevin Tran's mother from Supernatural.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to be able to watch this show without mixing in fandoms now. Clancy Brown in so many shows. His voice is just everywhere. It's like David Tennant. So I was on TikTok I'm sorry, I'm doing another sidetrack, but I was on TikTok the other night and there was a video of a giant stingray eating crabs on the ocean floor. And the first few words are just like, and this giant stingray. And it's like in a Scottish accent. I'm like, oh crap, that's David Tennant. And I go to the comment section. Everyone's just like, David Tennant, David Tennant, David Tennant, David Tennant. So now it's going to be like, Clancy Brown.
Oh no, when Clancy Brown does voice acting, or even like he does a lot of like actual acting and stuff like that too, I'm always just like, hey.
Yeah. I know who you
are. For me, I always hear his Lex Luthor because that's primarily like how I was introduced to him and stuff like that. So I always hear Lex Luthor before I hear like Mr. Krabs or anything like that.
Well, now I'm gonna have to check that out too. I want to see this man's resume. Like, yeah. Now I got it. It's like
Sokka's solution to this is eloquent.
It's amazing. They're like, okay, well, they can't both be lying. He's brainwashed. Let's do this. Stick it in. And also, like, that is dirty bed straw. That would taste.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't go there, Katie.
Oh, I have to, because I know the beds at Valpo. You never had to stay at the freshman dorms, did you?
No.
Okay, so we had alumni linking out and the one that I stayed in.
Berg?
Brandt Hall.
Brandt.
Yes, and I slept on a bed that was original to the building in the 1960s. It was a couch bed, so it rolled in and out to create a couch or a bed. And when I tell you, I can distinctly like just put together what that piece of straw would taste like from having to sleep on that bed. The same sensation. Mildew. If I were Jet and Sokka had stuck that in my mouth, I would have decked him. Just been like, what are you thinking? Black. Oh, gross.
I'm speechless.
And also, yes, Jet's eyebrow game is 100%.
Wow.
That is, that's some spikiness. I actually, compared to the last time we saw him, even when he was on the boat with Zuko, I really do like Jet in this episode.
Oh, they fixed Jet's character in a matter of minutes. Like,
yeah.
if you go back and rewatch our episode where we talk about the episode Jet, we both harp on him like he's the worst thing ever.
Gosh.
And then he pops up in season 2, and we're just like, I don't know.
I could take a little bit more Jet.
He's kind of cute.
A little bit. I can start to see why Katara maybe liked him. But it's a totally different dynamic between when the gang last saw them. You give them 5 minutes together, say one of them's brainwashed. It's like, oh, we're good. You totally didn't just try to murder a village full of people. It's okay. That was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, forget about it. You know,
that was like 1 element ago. I've got earthbending now. It was a thing of the past.
But I mean, I'm sorry, I got really distracted. I didn't realize Momo was this tall.
Wait, where's Momo?
Momo's standing by Aang.
Oh, snap! I got distracted by Smellerby. Why are his eyes going in 2 different directions? He is tall, though.
I didn't realize he was this tall.
Let me see if I can find Momo's official height.
Okay.
There's Momo official coloring sheets. Okay, Momo from Avatar. There's a lot of people named Momo out there. Let's see. Apparently, Aang is 4'6".
Okay.
So if Momo's about 1/3 of his height. Oh crap, math.
Don't look at me.
2 1/3. He's over 1.5 feet tall. That's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm just gonna call it 1.5 feet. Like even there, like yeah, I'd say that's about 1/3 of his height if you count the ears or not.
I don't know. He just looks so tall. I don't know. Just
it's like when I pick up my cat Radar and I just stretch him out. It's like
big stretch. Yeah,
big stretch. Oh, you can't not say big stretch anytime they stretch big. But yes, now they face their doom. Momo is big cat sized. Yes.
I don't know. I just never would have guessed. I just thought he was smaller than that. But
well, it's just because we never get those life size. Like it's me too. They had life size Appa. We need life size Momo.
They did. Oh, I was gonna say they did not have life size Appa. I thought you were talking about the plushes. No, they totally did have. I was like, I don't think they were selling life size Appas, Katie.
They have one. He's in a back room. You have to pay to see it.
No, they did have a life size Appa, and it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was a little terrifying, but it was still pretty cool.
But anyways, yes, no. So like they're just like, oh, Jet, maybe not. And then Smellerbee and Longshot pop up, and this is probably getting into the theory, but like growing up, I always thought that Jet, after he'd been brainwashed, like he had just been walking around the town for like weeks or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think that he had been in prison, and then they had just released him that day in the area around where Aang was. We'll get into it later when we talk about the theories, but
okay.
Yeah. So
consider me intrigued.
I don't know what that laugh was. I'm kind of tired.
Same. Marcus Aurelius has a good question here. Which would you rather fight, 100 Momo-sized Appas or 1 Appa-sized Momo?
100 Momo.
Both of those are terrifying to think of if I'm on the wrong side.
1 Appa-sized Momo. I think I would take the 1 Appa-sized Momo, because Momo really likes food. And so my idea would just to give him food.
See, you're thinking strategy. I'm just thinking which could crush me if it wanted to. I think that comes from having a brother who's about 1 foot taller than me, and who could crush me.
No, my brother is 1 foot taller than me, although I think I could crush him.
You just have the right technique.
Yeah, it's all about strategy.
I don't know, Marcus Aurelius, which would you choose? We're split vote here. It's like that Nightmares and Daydreams episode later on. Both would be terrifying.
I
Oh.
love that samurai fight between Appa and Momo in that Nightmares and Daydream.
The fever dream that is that episode.
It's beautiful.
Oh man. Well, I'm trying to remember. Is it they get to Lake Laogai next, or is it the Blue Spirit?
It kind of hops around. So like we could talk about how Zuko takes down that Dai Li agent.
Yes, because dude, that Dai Li agent was gonna try to kill him. Like
Oh,
that.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, the Dai Li was not playing. He was like, listen, 5 more minutes, then I'm off my shift. I don't got time for this. I don't want to fill out the paperwork.
Like, we're gonna paint the streets red. Boom.
Nobody's gonna miss you.
Yeah, exactly. That's only the internal dialogue of that Dai Li agent.
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom, forget about it, you know?
Yeah. Your body ends up in the river, your body ends up in the river. He honestly, Earthbenders, they could just be like, all right, shallow grave, let's roll it back up.
None the wiser.
That's actually terrifying if there's Earth Kingdom mafias.
Oh, there has to be.
Yeah. Like, as much as the Fire Nation likes to do the strategy side of things, like, nah, Earth Kingdom, Here's
the thing. Not so much in the 100-Year War, but like the Fire Nation has like a really like strong sense of honor. Whereas like the Earth Kingdom, sometimes they all just be heathens. So
I mean, we did have that old man who turned in
Haru.
I was gonna say Mustache Man.
Mustache Man.
Yes, they're all that little sneakiness. But no, it's nice to see the Blue Spirit back. I always like the Blue Spirit, especially in season 1.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really like the only time that we see him is in season 1, and then returns back here, right? Like we don't really get.
It's the first and last time we see him in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the way that Zuko takes down that Dai Li agent is really like really calculated, because like obviously he's probably seen a lot of the Dai Li agents just like around town, but like the only time that we've really seen like know that he's seen the Dai Li in action is when they take Jet. And so like the very fact that he was like, okay, I'm gonna lure this guy into the alleyway, he's gonna use his gloves, and then that's pretty much like his main weapon. Like obviously he can use the earth and stuff like that, but like obviously with the Dai Li agents, like you want to take away their gloves and then like, you know, so like the very fact that he was just like that quickly calculated, like this is how we're gonna do it, and then it goes off and he's just like, so tell me about this Lake Laogai.
Well, it's like Toph has all the pent-up rage of just being in the high class society again. Zuko has pent-up scheming that he's just been dying to get going again.
Yeah. He all he does all day is brew tea, and all he does all night is lay in his bed, stare at the ceiling. So
there you go. Yeah. He has time.
Yep.
No, I definitely like to think that he plotted this. Earth Kingdom has been fighting for survival for a century. Fire Nation has been sending off their soldiers. Earth Kingdom 100% has massive criminal networks.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have a secret underground. Literally, they actually do under Lake Laogai.
How does Zuko even get down there?
I think you see how like when they showed the initial shot and they're like getting into the tunnels and stuff. I think because like he's been trailing maybe the group and like he knew to go to Lake Laogai and he found the gang going in. Maybe he just went in the same tunnel that they did.
I don't think so, because
they come out of the same one, don't they?
They do. So then, yeah, maybe he is just a couple. I don't think he sees them, because like if he saw them, I don't think Zuko would have like the ability to like hold himself back and be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, he
there's the
wouldn't have the
avatar.
restraint.
The restraint, that's the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So
Maybe,
yes,
yeah, he just saw that there was an open door. It was like, this is some crummy security.
yeah. I mean, obviously there has to be like there's more than one way to get in there.
True. Well, and Nerdy Viking actually brings up a good point. Like, if the Dai Li, like the Dai Li clearly after Long Fang does his little rock slider on Jet, wouldn't he have gone to get Appa and then gone up to the surface? But Appa was already free before.
I don't think Lan Fei knew that Appa was free though.
Maybe. Yeah. True. It would have been unless he went to go look for him and then realized, oh, something's gone.
Yeah.
But
no, there has to be more than like one entrance because obviously Appa gets
yeah.
out, and I don't think Appa's coming out of that entrance. So
Yeah, I think true because yeah, Appa couldn't fit through that hole. So maybe the Dai Li he interrogated was like, oh yeah, there's a secret cave that can take you inside.
I love your Dai Li voice, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why it sounds like this.
No, I think that's spot on. Like,
yeah.
mhm.
I just like what would a creepy person kind of sound like? Like that.
Someone who hasn't drank water in months.
Yes. Water. Oh gosh. But yeah, no, I think that makes more sense as if he found like a larger exit to get Appa out.
Yeah.
Cause this ain't cutting it. Oh yeah. Nah, and how about okay, so the gang's going through, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to find him, and then they come upon this cult meeting. It's like, ooh, the heebie jeebies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This I think this might be why I don't rewatch this episode. Is this just creepy? You get like the brainwashing and the
Yeah. No, like it's creepy, but like at the same time, for whatever reason, I'm too sadistic and I kind of like it. I don't know. I just think that it's such an interesting like story, especially in a little kid show. Like, not that this is a little kid show, but like in a children's show, like
for kids.
For kids, guys, this played in prime time. Back in like 08 or something. Not 08. It was like 06 or something.
Like 05, maybe.
Who
right
knows?
around when Doctor Who came back.
What is time?
But see, this is why you were perfect for the haunted house things at VUTV.
I know.
Because you would not.
I know.
Yes, there's two or three great videos out on YouTube for anyone who really wants to do some digging of me going through a haunted house. They're glorious. But I mean, you could do an Avatar haunted house. You could theme it for like Lake Laogai. It'd be so good. You can have like chained up Appa in a room. I don't know.
All right, whoa, low blow.
It has to be authentic.
I guess, but at the same time, like there are some lines that cannot be crossed.
Appa's like a cat. If his head fits through the door, the rest of him will too.
Yeah, okay.
Agree. Oh man. But this transition is probably one of my favorite transitions in all of like Avatar. Because you think, oh, that's Jet. He put his hand on the wall. That's totally got to be Jet when the door opens.
Yeah, where they were like, yeah, like there's this big open room. He's got to be here. And then you're just like, this is it.
Here's the rug out from under you.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, nope.
Whoopsies. Yeah. No,
the conversation that Iroh has with Zuko is intense, though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have to decide what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and this is, I think what's really interesting is that, like, Iroh is very upset. And he's like,
that's not Iroh.
That's not Iroh.
That's Iroh.
That's Iroh. But, like, Iroh is really upset. And what I also find really interesting, and like also like he's upset, but he calls him Prince Zuko, and I think that like just that little added of the prince to his name again shows how much Iroh loves Zuko. And so he's like, listen, I'm very upset, and like, you know, you're throwing away all your hard work and you're falling it back into like your old patterns and stuff like that. But like the added of him being like, Prince Zuko, it's time for you to decide what you want and stuff like that. You're just like, whew, that's powerful.
Yeah. And it's like, it's true, Rapunzel. He raises his voice.
Yeah.
And you rarely have that in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just the fact that he does say Prince Zuko also kind of shows to me the respect and like he's trying to connect to him because he knows that Zuko might not be thinking straight. He might not be thinking at all.
Yeah.
So let's try to pull him back down to earth. Let's try to ground him and get him to realize like you can't just wing this, bud. You actually have to do some work.
Yeah. Well,
like,
and this is actually really interesting because we were just talking about like how well he had planned out like that fight with the Dai Li agent.
Oh yes.
And then now here he is, and he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do with like this 2-ton flying bison, who will bite your head off, by the way?"
Yeah, like that is an angry looking Appa. He will nibble your head and take the rest of your body and throw it against a wall. Like
like this is an Appa that has lost all patience. Like none of it.
Nope.
Also, this shot makes Appa look a little extra beefy.
He's swole.
I was just like, I think Iroh got the idea to work out while in prison from Appa. Like, my gosh.
He came into that room, and while he's also like talking to Zuko, he's just like, I need to get your workout schedule, Appa. We're gonna meet up in the hall after this.
Figure it out.
That's if you didn't know the context of the scene, he could just be being like, he's got muscles. Like, oh, I didn't realize he'd be that big.
Inspo for sure.
100%. Well, and then they take it from like, touching, heartfelt, you need to decide, blah, 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 like what's gonna go on to, you know what? We need to have more fighting in this episode.
This is an intense episode. Like,
oh.
But to go back to Iroh real fast, I think that it's really interesting that he's like, Zuko's like, this is my destiny. And Iroh like just restates that like, your destiny, nobody can choose your destiny. Like you have to choose that. And I think that that's maybe the first time in this whole series that like it's so blatantly stated. But like that idea of choosing your own destiny, Aang does it, Zuko does it, like a lot of them do it. And so like that's like one of these like major arcing storylines, and like almost like the main reason for this show is to like help people realize that like you aren't your past. you aren't what people think you should be. Like you get to decide. And so like to have it so blatantly like stated is really nice, and then heartbreaking at the same time.
Well, it's like, and it does emphasize that even though you're born either as the Avatar or as the Prince of the Fire Nation, whatever you're born as, you don't necessarily have to be what everyone thinks you're going to be.
Yeah, like you get to decide what that means. And I think that's wholesome.
It is. It is so wholesome. And it is a nice scene to see the two of them connecting, because we don't get a lot of that until the next season, which gets very interesting. But yeah, Rapunzel, Iroh, and Appa open a gym with a tea and smoothie shop. Instead of boba tea, they have momo tea. I could see that.
I don't want to know what momo tea is.
It's just peaches.
It's just peaches. That's the tagline. Momo tea. It's just peaches.
You can get the peach skin, you can get it with the peel on it, you can have it whole, you can have it crushed, but it has to be a peach. That seems about right. But yeah, so we get the beautiful Iroh and Zuko scene with dramatics and the, oh my gosh, Appa's so close. And then there's this.
I mean, Appa is very close, but Appa is still so much in danger, because that scene ends where you're like, you literally have no idea what Zuko's going to do.
next scene could just be a burnt corpse. Like,
Exactly.
you don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, this guy, honestly, I think has more villainy in his body than Zuko ever did at any point in the series.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, like, yeah, like, Longfang is a villain for sure, and, like, he's evil, but I would be more afraid of season 1 Zuko because season 1 Zuko is a little unhinged. And this
Yeah,
guy is unhinged too, but, like, at the same time, like, he's just a politician.
true. But
Oh my.
Zuko is a teenager, and
Exactly.
I like
Exactly.
which
Proving
one?
my point.
Which one? Which one of you is more stable, the politician or the teenager? Oh gosh, what an I would not be able to choose between the two of them. No, like this is peak evil plotting, etc., etc., etc. And I
Here's the thing.
like
Here's the
how
thing.
they shaped his character in this.
No, good villain,
Oh yeah.
but, like, he also gets undone so quickly.
Yeah, true.
Like, he really goes from, like, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea how they're gonna beat him," to literally being turned into a pawn within, like, a matter of, like, minutes in the show. So,
Yeah.
that's why I struggle to be like, "Oh, he's such a good villain." He's really not.
He's not that great a villain, but he is evil.
The only reason why I like Lon Fane is the idea of him.
Yeah. The idea that there's an
I
evil
like
plan
the
out
idea
there.
of him, and I like the idea of what he could have been, but, like, the execution-wise,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they could have done a little bit better with that, especially
Oh,
with like
no,
the
no, no.
planning.
No, 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 like, I think the writers did everything right, but it's just like
Oh no, but like yeah, like if we had more time in the episodes, I would have liked to have seen them develop him more.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that he appears, everything gets real. You get Longshot who's like, "All right, time to show you you benders how non-benders do this."
Mhm.
And I couldn't get any gifs compiled of it, but the fight scene in this with all the different moving parts, it was beautifully laid out.
I think it's really quick. Like, this fight scene isn't one that lives in my mind very much.
Yeah.
The only thing that I really, like, gravitate towards is when they walk in and they look up and all the Dai Li agents are, like, hanging from the ceiling.
Like spiders.
Yeah. That's really the only thing that I'm like, "Ooh, wow," like, that was really cool, and then, like, the fight sequence happens, but, like, there's so many things that go on, and then, like, with Aang and Jet getting separated and all this other stuff, like, it,
Yeah.
it's a good fight scene, don't get me wrong, but
No, I do. I
there's
think my
better.
favorite part of the fight scene is how like they had so many people and players in this. Like just with the gang right there, there's 7 of them.
Mhm.
And so making sure that they were all in the right spot during the fight and making it like actually with continuity and stuff work. And then Toph just being amazing and being like, "All right, we're going to grab you, we're going to steal you, we're going to put a wall up against you." Like,
Yeah. I
you know, she'd been waiting for that moment.
definitely. One of my favorite things that does happen in this, fight scene is Toph is, like, doing her thing and, like, um, she's holding her own, but there's eventually gonna be, like, some rock or something that's gonna hit her, and, like, Jet comes in and saves her,
Yeah.
and I think that that's really cool that he comes in and
It's
does
like,
that.
I don't know you, but I got you. Come here."
Yeah.
Well, and she wouldn't have had any idea that he was gonna do that for her because she was in midair, so she wouldn't even be able to sense him.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, she wasn't
So,
in midair, yep. But
just
I don't
flat
know.
out ripped out of the air by this handsome man.
It's a man. But no, yeah, I think that's such a cool little moment.
And I also like the transition to take the gang, keep them occupied in an understandable way, not just like, "Oh, hey, someone's at the door. Oh, we'll go check out who it is." And then you have 2 characters left in a room together. Like
Mhm.
this is like, "No, everyone's still fighting. We're just going to go and grab him."
Yeah.
they did a nice job making that feel organic. And that's this whole underwater scene with everything. It feels organic.
Yeah. No, and like the whole thing, like everything that happens when you're watching it, yes, it does feel really organic, but like on the rewatch, at least for me, and knowing and understanding like how the episode ends and stuff like that, it's really orchestrated by Lon Fane. Like,
yeah,
like again, like kind of getting into the theory, like Lon Fane released Jet to like lure him in, and stuff like that. So, and what I find really interesting is that, like, what in the world made Lon Fane think that Jet would be the one that could like take down the Avatar?
yeah. Like, did he know that he had a history with him?
I would think.
Because, like, the reason he was arrested was because he went manic over them being firebenders.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, like, maybe in the interrogation, he was like, I know the Avatar, or something.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm just saying, like, in this moment, like, so they're in the fight.
Oh, like, in the moment.
It's Lon Fane, and it's Jet, and it's Aang. And so it's like, does Lon Fane not think that he can take the Avatar? So then he's like, oh, you know what? And Jet, the Earth King, has invited you to Lake Laogai. And then, you know.
I think maybe he does think that he can't take on the Avatar, because as soon as he takes Jet out of commission, he leaves. He doesn't stick around to take down Aang. So it's like,
I know, but like, what in the world made him think that Jet, like, like that's what I'm trying to get at, is what in the world made him think that Jet?
Maybe the only thing that I can think of is he thought that because he's a non-bender, Aang wouldn't be quite as used to his fighting style.
I suppose. I don't know. What I do find really interesting in this, in Jet and Aang's like short little fight that they have, Aang doesn't fight back at all, which is very interesting, because if you think back into like season 1, like the fight that they have.
Oh yeah.
One of very good fight. Very good fight.
Through the treetop.
Yeah, and like Aang is giving like a lot in that fight too. But like here, he's just like, whoa, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that does show growth on Aang's part too, like that he trusts Jet. Just being like, hey, listen, this isn't you. I know better than this.
But does Aang understand that he's being mind controlled?
I think he probably figured it out.
Okay.
From that little, the little, oh, Jet, the Earth King has invited you to Lake Laogai, which, side note, there is fan art about that. Other side note, it should not be on my browser history, but it is.
I could tell by the way that you were talking that that's where that was going.
Yeah, let's just say they've changed it to a sexy party under Lake Laogai, and it just, fan comics just happen to pop up during fan art searches, so you don't look that up, guys.
I wasn't going to.
I'll be doubly sure you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that look on his face, dude is like sweating buckets. I think even the physical indicators are like, oh, this is not normal. Your eyes look like my cat's around midnight. So, yeah, and then you get the little fight scene, and the fact that Aang's the entire time trying to talk him through it, like, this isn't you, they're mind control, this and this, and it actually works. Like, another thing in this episode, just like Toph being able to tell someone's lying, is just like, I can talk you out of hypnosis. It's a little convenient for me. I'll take it, but it's a little convenient.
I have a theory.
Oh, well then perhaps I might feel a little bit more convinced. But yes, we get the fight, and he finally decides to turn on Long Feng, and he just goes like the little sharp end with his little pointy spears, turns it around, flames it, big mistake, rock to the chest.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the thing that kept me going in the the pose contest at C2E2, and you just end up with
I forgot about that.
Jet laying on the ground. I don't know. I think have we talked about it on the show yet?
I don't know if we ever talked about our CTE2 experience.
Yeah. We haven't. I still have all the footage that I'm editing together for the How to Comic-Con thing.
Nice.
Like it's a great video. We took so much footage though. But yes, so fun fact.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love that he has this smolder.
Oh, that is a smolder. Flynn Rider would be jealous of that smolder.
Yeah.
But you're literally dying of internal bleeding, and you're just like,
moves.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I'm going out winning.
In this moment, he's like, I could get her back.
I could, and he did a little bit. I think he did, but no, the C2E2, not to tease you guys with that and just walk away from it. I do have to tell you, Brandi and I, when we went to C2E2, there was an Avatar: Last Airbender panel with the voice actors of Aang, Zuko, and Sokka. And before the panel, typically C2E2 for the main stage stuff, they always try to do these little contests or fun little things with the audience while they're waiting for the panel to get going. And they had this thing where you could they pulled people from the audience to do like a superhero pose contest, something. And of course, me being crazy, I'm just like, yeah! And he's like, oh, you. And Brandi, I just appreciate how supportive you were through that entire thing. Because I go up on stage and we're doing all these poses. And they said, okay, you're going to strike a pose. You're going to tell us what the pose is. And then the audience will choose who wins in this little duel between you and another person. There's like maybe, 10 of us on stage? Yeah. And so first round, he's like, all right, go for it. 3, 2, 1. And I just lie flat on my back, knowing the audience that we're in front of. And I can't even remember what the first guy did. He did something. He comes over and he goes,
I think it was the Iron Man snap.
Oh yeah, the Iron Man.
Yeah. What's great is that he asked, the MC asked your opponent to explain his pose, and he was like, the Iron Man snap, and we're all like, oh, that's pretty good. And then he goes and asks you.
And I'm just like, I'm laying down, and he goes, and what are you? And I was like, oh, I'm Jet under Lake Laogai.
And the whole crowd screams.
It was amazing. You hear the gasps of the audacity of her to the
to the
It was amazing. I think you got a video of it, and it was.
Oh, I have the whole thing recorded.
Oh my gosh, I went back and listened to it. It was so good. Yes. So thank you, Jet, for dying so I could get a 5-second bit of fame, and a good laugh. But so with this episode, and Jet actually laying there and actually dying.
Well, he dies off screen. He dies off screen. It's a little unclear, but heavily implied.
Heavily implied. Even as a kid, I was surprised that they went that far and that they actually didn't have a happy ending.
It's not a complete character arc for Jet, but he does have this little character journey, and so there's not really any more for him to do, because I think if he did survive and everything like that, he would almost regress because of the trauma.
Yeah.
Because the sad thing and the tragedy about Jet is that it wasn't the Fire Nation that ends up killing him. It's his own nation. And the corruption that's happening. And he's killed literally by a rock.
He just got taken out by a rock.
Yeah. So it's his own people that end up killing him, and it's sad because he fought so hard to protect other people in the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, that does make it hurt so much worse.
Exactly. And so, here he comes to Bossing Say trying to move on and heal, and then like he immediately fights these firebenders and just goes downhill from there. And then instead of, you know, getting the help that he needs because he's a refugee, like instead of the city like helping all these refugees coming in, they get mind wiped or whatever and used, and it's so sad. And I think it shows that, like, yes, the Fire Nation are the villains and the bad guys in this series, but there's a lot of other bad guys in the other nations and stuff like that, which I always
like it's
appreciate.
not exclusive to the Fire Nation, and that does help steer kids away from thinking that, oh, if one nation is bad, then everyone in that nation is bad. Like, no, you can be good and have bad people, and you can be bad and have good people. It's just such a beautiful job of showing that. And, you know, Rapunzel 100% is correct here. Longshot and Smeller B get me right here.
I know. It's and then for Longshot to say his only line.
Yes! Just go, he's our leader. It's like, oh.
I know.
No.
I know.
Oh, but how proud would Jet have been in that moment? Just be like, they got me. It's like, oh. Get you some friends like that.
You know I got you, Katie.
Heck yes.
You get hit with a rock, boo-boo, and I'm gonna be there. I'm just saying that right now.
I'm gonna take you up on that. It's just another thing with the Las Vegas adventures. Like, I was climbing up like Pride Rock so high, and you're just like, Katie, if you fall, you fall.
What's great is that I was the one that fell.
That trip was doomed from the start.
Any trip with me is doomed from the start. You should know.
Oh, ditto. Ditto. You and I mean, if we travel together, we're creating a singularity in the universe at this point.
Yeah. It's amazing that when we do see each other that we both survive.
It's true. I mean, we had the severe thunderstorm with the most active tornado day in United States history occurred when we were at C2E2.
And we went outside in the rain and laughed like a bunch of idiots.
Oh my gosh, it was glorious. That was so much fun. Oh, speaking of not so fun now. Oh, Rapunzel. Laogai means reform through labor, and it is a system of Chinese labor camps, mostly for political dissidents.
That's heavy.
Nickelodeon, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. That's horrible. I mean, they got it spot on by calling it that, but
the writers knew what they were doing.
They're like, you know what? These kids will grow up and then they'll have the internet and they can find this out years later. Oh, it's so true. But then we get, I think, probably one of the most gut-wrenching things, aside from Longshot and Smeller B, is that I'll be fine. He's lying.
Yeah. And I think what's really nice is that Toph, like, whispers it just to Sokka. Like, he's lying. And this is the one part where I'm like, okay, the power that Toph has to be able to tell when people are lying. And like, this is the one spot where I'm like, that was some good writing.
Yeah.
That's some good writing.
That's the whole reason. Like, they could have ended up trusting Jet with him just talking his way out of things. But this is where it's like, no, we have to know that Toph can know that someone's lying. That, or like Katara could have just been like, dude, your ribs are in your stomach and your spleen is in your throat. I can't fix this.
What I love is that you think the Katara would say, dude.
If it was a serious enough situation. Oh, gosh. So we go from, like, one of the saddest, like, crying out of sadness to crying kind of with joy-ish kind of moments.
No, because, like, so, like, they leave Jet. I'm having trouble remembering. They leave Jet, and then they find the room that Appa was in, and they see the chains, right?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, he's gone." And then Sokka's like, "Well, maybe he's not gotten away yet." So they run up to the top.
Okay. So they think like Long Feng had. Okay. So then they run
Yeah.
up to the top, and then there's more Daily agents, and there's more like Long Feng and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh gosh, we're not going to survive this." And then Appa comes riding
He's just
out
like,
from the sun.
let
Oh
me just
no! I love that. Momo takes off, flies into the sun, and brings back Appa. That's what happens.
Yeah, and then you're just like, you hear that, and they're like, Appa! And he's like, "Oh, I love you guys. I'll be there in a sec. I gotta get this one first."
So when I was rewatching that episode and Appa comes in and he's like crushing everything, this is you're gonna have to put down your water. The only thing
Yeah.
the only thing that was running through my head was that I need to edit this scene with the song Tokyo Drift over it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I was just watching it and I was like, I don't even think it would properly line up. But
it's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
Oh my gosh, I actually really want to see that. Oh my gosh. No, because he comes in and he's like, "Get wrecked. We're gonna smash full on Hulk." And just my absolute favorite thing from Appa in this episode is when he takes him, he skips him across the lake, and then he does a little like, he can't use words, but boy, can he use sass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I wish we would have gotten a better ending for Long Feng, like actually murdering him, because then I'd be okay with that. But skipping him across the lake, I guess.
This isn't like the end for Long Feng. Like we still have the next episode where something.
Yeah.
So
I just wish that they would have right then and there.
Yeah, but like who would have done that?
Well, if Appa had been able to communicate to Aang that, "Oh yeah, no, I was gonna find you guys," then he stopped me, I feel like Avatar Kyoshi would have just been like, "All right,
Okay, all right,
you done messed with the boy."
What I love is that like Long Feng gets taken out, and all the other Daily agents are just like, "Boy,
Yep, no, not even like if they took you down.
That's lunch."
Yeah, like, we don't get hazard pay, so I'm just gonna.
Workman's comp was cut from the budget, so
we had to buy extra rock gloves, so we just couldn't. But then we get like the best, just most heartwarming reunion, and even like Toph in her own special way. She's not like hugging him or anything, just patting his nose, like, "I'm so glad you're okay."
Well, and I think, like, obviously we don't see it a whole lot, but I would imagine that Toph kind of blames herself for what had happened.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. So I'm sure that she's like very relieved, and almost in this moment, like everybody else is really happy and stuff like that. But I think Toph is a little more somber and like in this moment almost apologizing.
Yeah, and like it's relief and just being happy that I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, they did even just in this handful of frames from the episode did such a good job with that.
It's a lot of emotion.
It is. And like, emotion.
I know.
This makes me tear up every time.
It's a good little thing. It makes the tear bend for sure.
Exactly. Like, and I imagine too, like, what would happen if Radar was away for months, or like even a month, and then all of a sudden you turn to, I would be sobbing. So, but luckily I am keeping him captive in my house, and he will never ever leave.
Good for him, I guess.
No,
Radar's a cat, by the way, guys.
Radar's a cat. No, like, I have one of my deepest fears is now that either Doppler or Radar will get out of the house. Like, Cat Mom is totally different feeling. It's sad. But it's fine. I effectively locked them in.
Deals exist.
Yes. Yes, they do. And then
they fly off. But then the episode doesn't end because we have Zuko and Iroh literally like crawling out seconds behind the game.
They're just like, oh, sorry, we took a wrong turn.
Yeah.
No, I gotta find picture. It was here. It's not here anymore. The computer goblin took it.
Oh no.
But yeah, you get them out there and he's like, you did the right thing. And he's like, yeah, just drops the blue spirit mask.
I think that's very symbolic because I think that him getting rid of the mask is like the beginning of the end for villain Zuko. Like obviously he slips a bit, which I think is important, especially like in terms of like telling a story and like having a character change. Like you can't have them just do a 180. Like it has to have like that progression and stuff like that. So like him making mistakes and stuff like that just like humanize him even more and makes you able to connect and stuff like that and be like, okay, all right, you know. But like this is it's such a beautiful little moment, especially like Iroh, the change in Iroh, because he's obviously very upset when they were down underneath the lake, and then like once they come up and they're like, okay, Zuko made the right decision, and it's almost like Iroh has hope again in Zuko that he isn't going to go down that dark path again, and so he's just like, you did the right thing. Like he's so much softer, and
he's like you reinforce it.
Yeah. And so like that's great. And I think you can also really see the conflict in Zuko still. Like he's like, I made the decision that I made and it's good, but for whatever reason it doesn't quite feel right to him in that moment. And so like him being like, do I let this go? And then he just drops it and you're just like,
well, and I want to pick your brain on the when he drops the mask, because this is getting into fan theory realm, but did he drop it because he no longer needs to hide per se? Because Uncle Iroh knows who the blue spirit is, and like could on some level he have wanted to go off on his own without Uncle Iroh realizing it?
I'm gonna take it a step further. I like where you're going. I'm gonna take it a step further. I think what the blue spirit represents, especially in the first season, is going against what's right for the Fire Nation. Like what was right in the Fire Nation, especially in the blue spirit episode, was Aang was captured. Aang probably was not going to get out. They had him. But Zuko didn't want to do what was right for the Fire Nation. He wanted to do what was right for himself. And so that's going against the Fire Nation. And then that's when the blue spirit becomes an enemy of the Fire Nation. And so again, here we are. Zuko isn't doing what's best for the Fire Nation. He's only really thinking of like himself. And so I think him getting rid of the mask is no longer him feeling like he has to hide to go against the Fire Nation in a sense. Like he can Zuko and the blue spirit are no longer like these two separate people. They can kind of become the same thing as he decides that he's not going to do what's best for the Fire Nation.
He can choose his own destiny.
Exactly. So like your idea of like him no longer needing to hide, I think is such a good point of like he no longer has to hide that he doesn't agree with the Fire Nation.
Exactly.
As much as he does. Yeah.
I love it. I also love that Rapunzel understands and my cats are tiny fluffy prisoners whom I serve with the utmost devotion. Yes. They have a mansion. They have all the toys they could want. If someone treated me like I treat them, I would live a very happy life. I have food that just shows up. Someone cleans my poop. Like, this is the best.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder if Bites ever had those thoughts. Because, to be fair, we were all servants of Bite.
Yeah, no, I took care of that fish.
Yep. Yeah.
Took care of that fish.
That's another Valpo adventure for all y'all. We had a fish that was handed to us really by a teacher and just said, "These are
Here
your
you go.
viewers. You must keep them alive." It's like,
Yeah. It was like a social media thing, but it really just turned into like this fish that we had to take care of.
he's the
So
angriest little dude. He
one of
makes
my
Zuko look calm.
well, it was a pretty small tank for a beta. I'd
It
be
really
I'd
was.
be ticked too.
If we could have gotten it, I would have gotten him like a 12 gallon or 12,
I know you
20
would have.
gallon.
I know you would have.
But then you would have had to carry that to the bathroom and it would just been a mess.
My all-time favorite is when I was cleaning his tank one time, and I don't remember. It wasn't like a comm professor because they would have just accepted it. It had to be some other professor, maybe from like the art department, because sometimes they taught in the comm building.
Yeah.
And she walked in and we locked eyes and she was like, "What is going on?" And I was like, "This is just a regular Wednesday for me." I just can continue to clean the tank.
So, I'm imagining now this is the face that person was making.
Yeah, they were just like, "What is going
on?" I mean, that does come close to the fish story. I did a fish experiment in high school where I had 50 zebra Danios fish and they died like crazy. But whenever I would go in and they'd be dead, I had to flush them down the toilet in school. And one day I was running late, so I had one of my friends decide to go in. I was like, "Hey, dude, can you go flush this down the toilet?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sure." So he put him in the toilet. And then like a few minutes later, people just come walking out like, "What the heck?" And like someone came out, I think they said, "There's fish in there." And I looked at Brandon and I was just like, "What did you do with their corpses?" And he's like, "Well, you said to put them in the toilet. You never said to like flush them." And I was like, "I exactly said to flush them." So I'm not good with fish. Yep, they end up just like Jet, dead and buried underground. Too soon?
Too soon.
Okay. Well, on that cheery note, we might as well move on to the fan theories.
We should, but before we do that, we're gonna have to backtrack. We did not talk about them being in that warehouse and like the guy sweeping.
Snap! I have a picture of that.
Good old Sweepy. I just
no one cares about Sweepy.
Yeah, no one cares about good old Sweepy. I just love that he keeps trying to insert himself into the conversation. And they're just like, "Bro, shut up."
I was like, that's when you know he's a Diley plant. He's trying to do his role.
No, I don't think he's a Diley plant at all. I think that he is 100% just surviving until 5 o'clock. Like that's what he's trying to do. Because he's just muttering to himself. He's like, "Whaletail Island, I've been forever since I've been on a vacation." And it's like he just wanted their sympathy, but they were like, "Bro, we're dealing with a lot and you should probably shut up."
You don't even know, man. You don't even
know.
Yeah. No one cares about Sweepy here. It's such a little throwaway scene, but it's the humor that's needed in this episode.
It definitely is.
Oh gosh. Was there anything else I forgot? I think I've gone through all the pictures that I found. I think that's it. Unless my memory's trash anyway.
Alrighty.
On to the fan theories.
Yep. So let's see here. Okay, so I'll just start with the Jet one because I kind of talked about it. Okay, so I always thought growing up watching that Jet had, been brainwashed and then like just released back out into the city. And
trap neuter release.
Yeah. It was one of those things. Exactly. But for whatever reason, when I was rewatching it for this week, I started thinking and I was like, I think that he was probably kept prisoner. And because there's this line that Longfane says after talking with Judy about like how the gang is like gone rogue. He's like, "Then we'll handle this quietly." And so I think that during like Jet's captivity, he was like forced to reveal that, like, you know, I know the Avatar and blah 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 blah. And so then that probably led him to being captured longer instead of being released.
Just to see what info they could get from him while he was
The
under
info,
hypnosis.
but then also like keeping a possible weapon close, because in case the Avatar becomes a problem, and the Avatar obviously did become a problem.
Yeah.
So I think that he was released, like they knew exactly where they were hanging up the posters in the city. So then he was just like released a couple of blocks out, and it was just like go do the thing, and like he was Jet was being controlled without realizing that he was being controlled. And like the plan of like them, Jet taking them to Lake Laogai was always part of the plan, and stuff like that. And so then Smellerbee, because even Smellerbee, like she comes up and she's like, we've been looking for you for weeks. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, like you've been looking for him for weeks and you just stumble upon him so quickly right now. That's why I'm like, I think that where they're at is small enough that Smellerbee and Longshot would have found Jet if he was out.
Yeah.
So
like this, that tracks.
Yeah.
Fan theory approved.
And then here's another one. I don't think it's a fan theory. I think it's a headcanon for me, at least. So at the beginning of the episode, when Sokka is like drawing, Toph is like laying on the ground and she's throwing like a rock up against the wall and is bouncing it and catching it.
Oh. Which
I find so interesting. Like the animation itself is like, she could have just been laying there, because a lot of times that's what Toph's doing, but like you could see her like throwing something up against the wall and catching it. And I think the reason why is because I think she's practicing to fight the Dai Li again, because in the city, when they go to like that party with Bosco the bear, and the Dai Li take them all out like so quickly because of the gloves. And so I think Toph is practicing understanding like where a rock starts and where it ends up in the air. Because at the beginning of the fight underneath the lake, they a bunch of Dai Li agents like shoot the gloves, and she is very quickly knows exactly where they are and like is able to like take them out really, really quickly. So I think Toph practiced because she was like, we gonna fight them again.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. Like knowing where it starts, and in the air she can't sense it, and then being able to like figure out where it would end up anyway.
Yeah. So I think that little animation is like her practicing figuring out where a rock is in the air.
I like that.
Yeah.
That one gets it approved too.
All right. All right. And then the last one, it basically boils down to, I think Long Feng is losing his control over the city. Toph always.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Toph is always fighting. But and the reason for this is, so Judy goes to the house and is like, you can't hang these without a permit and stuff like that. And then she goes back, and while she's talking about it, she cracks and she cries, and she's like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Like it's the most like human emotion that we've ever seen from her. And I think that that's very interesting, because she just got back from the lake. Like that mind control should be really solidified, but for whatever reason, it isn't. And so then he has to be like, the Earth King has invited you to Lake Laogai, and that snaps her back. But I think that the mind control isn't as solidified as what it had been in the past. I think the reason for that is because the population, especially in the lower Rhine, continues to grow with the refugees, and the refugees probably get their mind wiped if they're too outspoken about the war. So as that population grows, they have to mind wipe more and they have to control more. And it's just like turning into this giant snowball that Long Feng cannot control. And so
oh, sorry.
No.
Well, I was thinking like that combined with if having, because he offers in this episode, like, you leave Ba Sing Se. So I wonder if maybe having the Avatar in there is sparking more people to start talking about the war, and then that's causing them to have more and more like hush hush missions, and like it's starting to like wipe the memories faster. And so that's why he said you need to leave, not because he's causing chaos, but because he's making him lose his control.
Exactly. And so like they have to wipe more people, or you know, they're just not being as thorough in the mind control. Who knows? I don't know. They don't really ever explain how the mind control even works. But yeah, so I think that Lan Fang's control over the people is slowly cracking. And that's why Aang is able to talk Jet out of his own mind control with, like, you know, remember your family and what the Fire Nation did and stuff like that, and like bring him back, is because it's just Lan Fang does not have the control that he has, which then leads to his own demise in the coming episodes.
Yes. Ah, I love it. Your fan theories never disappoint. Oh my gosh. Yes, perfect. Absolutely. Are there any more?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
Cool, because I have this one fan art that I have been dying to show ever since I started watching the episode. So we'll do the first one because it's still really pretty, and then the second one that's really cool. The first one, I just like to think that they could have had a nice life together, that they would have started.
This is very sad.
Yep, this makes me really sad. But it's like they could have been their own group, and they could have been amazing, but no, we have imaginations.
This reminded me, I had another fan theory, but I debunked it. The fan theory was that all three of them didn't make it out of the lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was debunked because you see Smellerbee and Longshot in a comic book.
Yep.
Yep. But the reason why I thought that was because after like the gang leaves, you see Longshot aim an arrow.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. And so I was like, oh, more Dai Li agents are about to come in. And I was like, I don't know if all three of them make it. Like, what if we have a death times 3? But no. I think the arrow might have been an explosive shot to like bust through the wall or something and get out.
Oh, yeah.
But they were going to find a way. They were going to find a way.
Yes.
Longshot is, I think, probably my favorite out of the freedom fighters.
Same. He's just so poised and just makes me sad. Yeah. Well, here's one that's a little bit less sad, but also is amazing. And it ties into why I referenced bites earlier, because someone made this and put it in their fish tank and made it look like it was at the bottom of Lake Laogai.
That's amazing.
And so I'm just, they make the SpongeBob pineapples you can put in your fish tanks.
Yeah.
I want a blue spirit mask that I can put in our fish tanks.
Actually, you know, I don't have a fish, but I think I'm gonna have to get a blue spirit mask and just a fish bowl, and that's the only thing in it.
Just where's the fish? What fish?
What fish? Nope. This is the.
There are no fish in Ba Sing Se. Oh, I can 3D print you a mask. You just tell me when.
It's hilarious because Bree, she'll be talking about something. She's like, I just need a 3D printer. And I'm like, I'll just message Katie.
Yes, literally message me.
I was like, she wants something to 3D print, believe me.
Yes. It's like a swimming pool. You have to just use it to get the dust out and keep it circulating. Oh, yes. No, anytime anyone needs a 3D print, message, and it may or may not be possible. We'll find out.
That's what makes it exciting.
Exactly. But that is also, that is the only fan fiction I could find, well, fan art for this episode I could find that was acceptable to share on the internet in a video with my face on it.
Good call.
Curves. I love how Google acknowledges that there's no war in Ba Sing Se. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, I think you have to.
Is there a war in Russia? No. We're getting too close to the real world here. Yeah. Correct you too. Did you mean there is no war in Bossing Say? I forgot about that. Fun. And you know there's nerds all around us. It's just nice when they show themselves.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is it.
That's
We
it.
did a successful episode, somewhat a week after the first one.
We did it.
Oh gosh, which one? What is the next one?
Is it the Earth King? Is that the title?
Earth King, right? And then it's the Guru / the Crossroads of Destiny.
Yep. So we only in 2 more episodes we would have completed season 2.
Wow.
If we do the Guru and Crossroads of Destinies together.
I think that's the way that's intended to. We'll do it.
It's the way that it's intended to, but sometimes we get really sidetracked, and so we have to make it a 2-parter.
Yep. Yeah. Yes, we do. It has happened many times before. No, that'll be great, and I will make no promises as to what the universe will throw at us, but we will see if we can do it at a somewhat short amount of time from this current date.
Yeah. We'll
so we shall see. At this rate, we might finish season 3 by the end of 2025, but you'll have something to do once a month throughout the entire next few years.
We're here to serve you. I don't know.
Yes. Oh gosh. Well, this has been fun, Brandi and Rapunzel and Louise X Sparrow, the Nerdy Viking, Marcus Aurelius, Odega showed up too. We just had a whole plethora of people. Appreciate you guys joining us for our Wonky Tuesday broadcast, and we will see you eventually.
That's a good way to end it.
Eventually. Bye, all.